hearing your thoughts on film and the filmmaking process would be interesting to say the least.
So this is a question, I guess, about how we feel about just filmmaking in general, and
I guess so.
and like the film process. We were talking a little bit before the podcast, as well, about the fact that I had a realization we both are film majors,
Yep.
basically. Wait, what is your major? Do you like? Can you say what your major is, or
yeah,
what,
so
or
it
what
was-
you graduated in?
I was a dual major in television, radio, and film was one of them,
Okay.
which is obscure because we didn't learn a thing about radio. No one's
Yeah,
learning about radio
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
And
Even
the
though
other
a
one was
podcast is kind of radio.
well, I mean, that's kind of
That's
ironic.
not good.
Certainly didn't learn how to podcast in college.
Yeah.
And then the other one was information technology. Like it was like managerial. It was like infotech. It wasn't like computer science, but it was more on the managerial side of IT.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you had a film major too. So like,
Yeah, I was media studies. I was visual media studies with a marketing minor. So I kind of went more marketing towards the end.
That's more like digital media esque.
But
Mine was
it's
more.
But I still got forced into all the make sure the aperture is set right.
So did you learn like okay, I'm curious. Did you learn about like proper film technique and like shooting? Like do you know how like if I said, "Yo, go turn the red
Not
on."
on that camera.
Not on that camera. Okay, so on another camera, if you wanted to shoot this scene, do you know how to get it to look exactly like you want and what's proper?
Mostly like you'd have to.
So what would you shoot the scene at? What's your aperture? What's
See,
your
I don't know
ISO?
that. I don't know that.
So he doesn't know. You don't.
I'm
know.
not. I don't have like a aperture or ISO that's like perfect for me that I can think of. But I mean, obviously, I would always turn my ISO really low.
Okay.
You know, you want that low. I knew like the basic.
I know you want the ISO low, and that's all I know.
1,000 videos made, by the way. That's
This is
all I'm
exactly
talking
where I wanted this to go.
But that's the point. It's like you
I didn't learn that in school either.
But you do. I learned that, but like you don't learn like.
But did you?
It's different for every scenario though. Like if you're recording outside, the ISOs might be higher depending on what time of day, you know, or the aperture might be.
Are you sure?
At night, it's gonna be higher.
At the night, it's gonna be higher. Yeah.
See, I know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Okay.
Hey,
At night, it's gonna be higher.
These guys might be like, "What are you guys talking about?"
But aperture, you want the lens of the camera to, you know, it might take in too much light.
Right.
You know, during the day or something, so you might have to close it more.
Correct.
Don't know which direction that is though. I can't.
You don't
think
know
of
which.
it off the
If
top.
it's a higher number or low number.
I would just fiddle with it until I.
Fiddle it till you see like,
Yeah.
oh, look at that, looks better.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fair. But my whole entire point with this is not to grill you or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee most people have no idea what we're talking about when I talk about
Yeah.
that stuff. I went to school for film too and didn't learn. I came out of school not knowing any of that. I learned everything I know doing YouTube, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with
Like-
a lot of that too. I think, you know, granted, I'm used to. See, I think you definitely, you can take a camera now and go film something.
Yeah.
You know, in any kind of environment. You know, I'm still really, I don't have a ton of experience filming like
Behind the camera.
You know, filming behind the camera. I'm always in front of the camera,
Right.
right? That's sitting down typically. But like in terms of even that though, I think it's very interesting because there's always so many different styles of what people like and what looks good. Like to me, I might like a really wide shot. You know, my streams are really wide.
I was gonna say your streams look great,
Yeah.
so you definitely know how to get it to where you want.
But that's what I mean. Like, you know, we're talking about the filmmaking process, and like I feel like a lot of like the structure that you're given in school and stuff, there's a lot of like experimentation that comes with it too that you just don't get in school. Like you don't really get like, oh, you need to go film this and it needs to be on this setting and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, I'm not gonna remember. I might not need that for what I'm doing. I might need a super wide angle shot. I might need a super, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, what I'm saying is that you learn from doing it.
Yes.
And you don't learn from taking a test about it.
Yes. School teaches theory.
Yeah.
Doing it teaches like practicality, and you actually learn how to do it by doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest flaw of like. So I went to Syracuse.
No, we're like hammering home
Hey
the
man,
flaw of
this
school,
is like
apparently.
something that I think people would. There's a lot of people that probably listening to this that are either in college or going to college
Yeah.
or considering going to college. If I had to sum it up for you, what I learned in college wasn't the value. It was about the people I met in college. That's it.
Very true.
That's all I've taken out of college.
I would 100% agree that the best part about college for me and I just graduated this year.
Yeah.
Was the networking.
Absolutely.
And getting some knowledge on, honestly, just the business side of like how do you approach people and how you approach companies and how you show your like getting your portfolio made and stuff. I learned a lot of that in college. Like you know, like how do you make a portfolio? How do you make a resume? Like that stuff was really important. But like when it comes down to like the nitty gritty details of how to record something, how to film something, I've learned it all on the side of college, not during it. So, I mean, granted, let me just preface this for a sec though. If you're going to school to be a doctor, granted, that's definitely a very different story. But in terms of like liberal arts, like we are, for the most part, I think your portfolio matters. What you do on the side matters more than your degree. 100%.
Absolutely.
Like if you have a degree but you've never made a video on the side, what are you doing?
That
no offense to anybody, but like
that just sums it up. Like you pay so much money to go to college, and in my case, I think what would be considered a pretty top tier communications school in Newhouse, and it's just like I didn't come out of it being like, oh my God, I learned all this great stuff. I didn't, because I didn't get to do it. It was all theory. Like you compile it for a test, you take the test, nail the test, and then a week later I have like no clue. Like the stuff in there, I don't remember any of it.
And then that time you could have spent, like you spent studying for that, could have been you making a really cool project to show off on your portfolio instead.
I'm just happy I was able to do both because
same.
God, I really don't know where I'd be if I didn't start doing YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that's the vehicle for me that taught me what I know now. Because I went out there and had to go and fail and learn, basically. Trial and error is the best way to learn. So
yeah, absolutely. I think for sure. Like the thing, I don't know. We went on a huge tangent about school with this one.
How do I feel about it? It's great. It's great. But the best way to learn how to do it, I would say, is to do it.
Yeah, it's the trial and error of doing it yourself and figuring out what works for you. I think the filmmaking process is different for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
I think like people have different styles. The greatest filmmakers have different
That's
styles
the beauty
to
of it.
their work.
It's like a fully creative process.
Yeah.
But learning the actual like techniques and the like finding your style just takes trial and error. Really.
I'll say one thing just to instead of going down the whole school tangent about the filmmaking stuff that I think is really cool. One of my favorite things is like color theory.
Okay.
Like color theory, like I don't know if you've ever seen, like you've seen Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, like seriously, for anybody listening to this right now, like if you don't know what I'm talking about, search up Breaking Bad color, like color research or evaluation or something. The way they use color in that show is ridiculously, like it goes over your head, but it also subconsciously doesn't. It's like, oh, this person's wearing purple a lot because they're materialistic, and you don't even notice that when you're watching, but it's like, oh, that's why they made them wear purple. Like there's actually like a physical reason why, like when they're filming the show, they were like, I want these colors in the shot. I want these colors here on this person because I want that to encapsulate their character more. I love character work. Character work is what gets me fired up. But there's a lot of that in that show.
No, I agree.
Like someone might be wearing green and they're really envious or something.
You've done the research on this, huh?
Dude, I'm telling you, I didn't even think about this before the show today, but I'm telling you, Breaking Bad, I think it's one of the prime examples of TV. It's done it really, really well.
Yeah.
There's like I'm sure there's YouTube videos about it. Color theory on Breaking Bad.
Even beyond color theory, Breaking Bad's, from a film standpoint, is one of the greatest shows of all time for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, just the shot compositions and like just the angles that they use.
How do you get the pizza on the roof right? How do you do that? How do you flip a pizza on the roof?
But the real reason I love that show is like a lot of those angles are so creative. They break the traditional, like, this is how it's supposed to be shot. They have like shots of inside the fridge. Yeah. To me, that's such a, like a small creator type shot.
Yeah.
Because it's so unique and you can just do that as a creator. But in film, it's kind of like pushing the boundary. Like it's breaking the tradition a little bit to do these unique shots like that, and it worked phenomenal in that show. So
Breaking Bad's a really good example. Like if you want to learn about filmmaking or
watch the show.
Yeah, just watch that show
and just think about
and
that's the other
and script writing too. Like
dude, the whole show from top to bottom is phenomenal.
That's where I'm more into. I'm more into like character work and like script writing and stuff, more than the actual filming.
Than the actual filming.
Yeah.
Dude, I want last thought on this topic. This is actually a great question. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, it turned into a really good one. Thank you, Valpless. Thank you.
Do you have the problem of watching TV and film and getting so caught up in how'd they do that or how'd they shoot this and then you totally lose track of the story because you're so focused on how it happened?
Absolutely. I remember that is something I do remember in college where a lot of my professors would say you're never going to look at a TV show or movie the same way without
thinking
going into this like mind mode of thinking about like how the heck did that happen or why is this shot a certain way or just shots back to back. My favorite thing also is sorry, I'm just going on a huge tangent here.
No, it's great.
But again, we're getting used to how this works. But long shots or one takes. Was it long shots or one take?
Well, they're totally different thing. Long shot would be like a really close-up shot.
That's not what I mean then.
Like one take would be a continuous shot.
Yeah, one take. Oh, like just a shot that is really one take and it lasts for like 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
And you're like, how on earth did
choreography?
How did you maneuver the camera around?
Yeah.
How did you get everybody acting perfectly where somebody syncs up at the right time?
Yeah.
Those are some of my favorite things in filmmaking and I honestly think that like if a movie or a show or just anything has a really I think The Witcher did this recently too. I think there was like an action scene or something that had like it was kind of like one take all the way through or something like that. I think. Did you see The Witcher?
I haven't.
I didn't see it all the way through yet. I need to.
I think I know what you're talking about. A lot of the James Bond movies, the openings,
John Wick has a little bit of that too.
Like usually like a seemingly like a one take.
Yeah.
Of an action scene of someone being chased through whatever.
Yeah.
That's usually how they start. But yeah, no, those are incredible. And if you ever see the BTS of that stuff.
Oh my god.
Unreal. Like a lot of times they'll have a camera like on tracks, and then they'll take the camera off into like a Ronin situation, like a dolly situation.
Yeah.
And they just keep going. Like it's perfectly choreographed, perfectly executed. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Film's amazing. We should
film's
probably
crazy.
keep going, but that was a great question. I didn't think it'd be that intense, but
we want to have a Q&A section in every one of these episodes.
Definitely.
So be sure to tweet us your questions on Twitter, at JC Backfire over here, at MC Sports Talk over here, or leave them in the comments below, down below on this podcast episode, or just really anywhere. Like we're gonna see everything.
Just send them wherever you can.
We're irrelevant. We don't really have that many.
Just find us and send them away.